Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Bend County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers, viewers, and listeners advisory video cast. And just before I tell you to enjoy, as I usually do, I want to make two comments. One is that I'm on vacation next week, so the next Library Connections edition will be in 2 weeks. There'll be none next week, but the week after I'll be back. And also of note, just FYI to anyone who might be ordering books for the holidays as gifts, there are substantial delays at the present time in shipping books, even brand new bestsellers and unexpected bestsellers especially. So if you're going to order books as gifts for the holidays, you might want to do it early. Just FYI. And enjoy the videocast. Library Connections number 73. This is the Friday, October 8th, 2021 edition of Library Connections. Jumping right in with the top 5 fiction bestsellers for this week from the New York Times. At number 1, The Wish by Nicholas Sparks. Maggie Dawes, a renowned travel photographer, struggles with a medical diagnosis over Christmas. At number 2, Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Dorr. An interconnected cast of dreamers and outsiders are in dangerous and disparate settings, past, present, and future. At number 3, Apples Never Fall by Lane Moriarty. The Delaney siblings suspect their father of causing the disappearance of their mother. At number 4, The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik, the second book in the Schoolomance series. Will students now in their senior year make it out alive? I guess we'll have to read the book to find out. And at number 5, The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman, the second book in the Thursday Murder Club series. A ruthless murderer is out to get 4 septuagenarian friends. Moving on to the top 5 nonfiction bestsellers for this week at number 1, Peril by Bob Woodward and Robert Costa. The Washington Post journalists detailed the dangers and challenges during the transition to the Biden presidency. At number 2, Vanderbilt by Anderson Cooper and Catherine Howe. The CNN host and descendant of the Vanderbilt family charts the rise and fall of this American dynasty. At number 3, American Marxism by Mark R. Levin. The Fox News host gives his take on the Green New Deal, critical race theory, and social activism. At number 4, No Cure for Being Human by Kate Bowler. After being diagnosed with cancer at 35, the author of Everything Happens for a Reason takes a new look at the advice industry and her own ambitions. And at number 5, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. How trauma affects the body and mind, and innovative treatments for recovery. Our first recommended read for this week is the new Richard Powers novel, Bewilderment. Bewilderment is a heart-trending new novel from the Pulitzer Prize-winning and #1 New York Times best-selling author of The Overstory. The astrobiologist Theo O'Brien searches for life throughout the cosmos, while single-handedly raising his unusual 9-year-old son Robin following the death of his wife. Robin is a warm, kind boy who spends hours painting elaborate pictures of endangered animals. He's also about to be expelled from the 3rd grade for smashing his friend in the face. As his son grows more troubled, Theo hopes to keep him off psychoactive drugs. He learns of an experimental neurofeedback treatment to bolster Robin's emotional control, one that involves training the boy on the recorded patterns of his mother's brain. With its soaring descriptions of the natural world, its tantalizing vision of life beyond, and its account of a father and son's ferocious love, Bewilderment marks Richard Powers' most intimate and moving novel. At its heart lies the question, how can we tell our children the truth about this beautiful, imperiled planet? And that is a top-notch book getting great reviews, which I'm going to put right on my reading list, and I bet you will too. Our second recommended read for this week is another terrific book. It's the fall publication season when lots and lots of great new books come out in anticipation of the holiday season, of course. But I digress. Our second recommended read of the week is the new Anthony Dorr novel, Cloud Cuckoo Land. Dorr, as you may recall, is the author of All the Light We Cannot See, which won the Pulitzer Prize. And now a bit about the plot of the book. Pulitzer Prize winner Dorr returns with a deeply affecting epic of a long-lost book from ancient Greece. In the mid-22nd century, Constance, age 14, copies an English translation of Cloud Cuckoo Land by Antonius Diogenes. She does so with her food printer's Nourish powder while traveling aboard the Argos, an Ark-like spaceship destined for a habitable planet. She found the book in the Argos's library and was already familiar with Diogenes' story of a shepherd named Atheon and his search for a book that told of all the world's unknown lands. She was familiar with the tale because her father told it to her while they tended the Argos's farm. Her father's connection to the Diogenes book is gradually revealed, but first, Dorr takes the reader farther back in time. In chapters set in and around Constantinople, leading up to the 1453 siege, two 13-year-old children, Anna and Omir, converge while fleeing the city. And Omir helps Anna protect a codex of Cloud Cuckoo Land that she discovered in a monastery. Then in 2020 Lakeport, Idaho, translator Zeno Ninas collaborates with a group of young children on a stage production of Cloud Cuckoo Land at the local public library. Unbeknownst to the group, a teenage eco-terrorist has planted a bomb meant to target the neighboring real estate office. Dorr seamlessly shuffles each of these narratives in vignettes that keep the action in full flow and the reader turning the pages. The descriptions of Constantinople, Idaho, and the Argos are each distinct and fully realized, and the protagonists of each are united by a determination to survive and a hunger for stories, which in Dorr's universe provide the greatest nourishment. This novel is a marvel. And that's the Starred Publishers Weekly Review, and so many books, so little time, because that one too I really want to read. Our first audiobook recommendation for this week is the new Will Thomas mystery, Dance with Death. The audio is narrated by Anthony Ferguson. Narrator Anthony Ferguson thoroughly inhabits Scotsman Cyrus Barker and Welshman Thomas Llewellyn, private inquiry agents of renown in 1893 London. They foil an assassination of Prince George of England, who happens to be the spitting image of Tsarevich Nicholas, the true target. Barker and Llewellyn are then hired to protect the Russian prince from any harm by the mysterious assassin. Ferguson's silky vocal performance flows smoothly as the youthful Tsarevich has a tryst or two, drinks with his British royal cousins, and otherwise enjoys London. Ferguson captures Russians, Americans, and a multitude of British characters ranging from crisply enunciated aristocrats to Cockney-voiced street urchins and cabbies in this latest installment in the Barker and Llewellyn series. This is a terrific series if you want to feel like you just walked into 19th century London. I urge you to check it out. And also, on a reader's note, this is the 12th book in the Barker and Llewellyn series. If you'd like to start reading the series from the beginning, check out the first book, which is called Some Danger Involved. Our second audiobook recommendation for this week is the new Craig Johnson novel, Daughter of the Morning Star, narrated by the excellent reader George Goodall. Johnson's twisty 17th Walt Longmire novel takes the Wyoming sheriff to Lame Deer, Montana, where troubled Jaya Long, the star of her high school basketball team, has been receiving threatening notes. Jaya's tribal police chief aunt worries that much of Jaya's bad behavior stems from the disappearance of her 17-year-old sister a year earlier on a drive back home from Billings. She also worries that the notes may be related to that tragedy. After Longmire questions a number of people close to Jaya, including her dysfunctional parents, dead bodies start turning up. Meanwhile, Jaya's team makes it to the state finals, and when someone roughs up the girls' coach, the gallant Longmire fills in and provides Jaya some lessons on the value of being a team player. And that is a value, for sure. But I digress. As usual, Longmire, a Vietnam War vet, shrugs off some serious physical knocks, including falling into a canyon, on the way to a dramatic showdown with a killer, and a bittersweet, if hopeful, ending. Fans will hope the sheriff has no plans to retire soon. And I want to make another comment on the narrator for this audiobook. George Goodall is excellent. He's narrated all the audiobooks in the Longmire series. So if you like excellently narrated audiobooks, check out this series. And on a reader's note, this is the 17th book in the series, as I mentioned. If you'd like to start reading or listening to the series at the beginning, check out the first book, which is called The Cold Dish. A little tip of the hat to Shakespeare there and his deal about revenge being a dish best served cold. So check out this great series. And yes, I'm a huge fan. Love this book. I read it instead of listened to it, but I will listen to it at some point because Goodall is so good. Our first streaming recommendation for this week is the 2002 classic Catch Me If You Can, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Christopher Walken. Steven Spielberg reunited with Tom Hanks and joined forces with Leonardo DiCaprio to craft this breezy, snazzy, giddily enjoyable caper comedy that is based on a possibly true story. DiCaprio stars as Frank Abagnale Jr., an unflappable con artist who passed as a doctor, a lawyer, and an airline pilot. Hanks is the buttoned-down FBI agent who's hot on his trail, and Christopher Walken nabbed an Oscar nomination for his atypically muted turn as Abagnale's hustler dad. The New York Times critic called it a smart, funny caper while praising its strain of sly social satire. That's the New York Times overview of the film. This is a fun movie, so if you're looking for a sort of a madcap comedy caper movie, check this one out. And in keeping with the season, I'm going to recommend the 1931 Spanish language version of Dracula. If you haven't seen it, this is an excellent movie. This was actually shot at the same time and on the same sets as the more famous English language version, starring Bela Lugosi. And this one is directed by George Melford and stars Carlos Villareros. You can stream it from the Criterion channel or through the Criterion app if you have a subscription, but you can also get it from our library on DVD. It's contained in the set Dracula, the Complete Legacy Collection. I've always found it really cool to note that this movie was filmed on the same sets as the English language film, just at night. So they did the English language version of this during the day with a different cast, and then the Spanish language film at night. So that really is kind of cool, I think. But I'm digressing. More about the 1931 Dracula. It's a sexier, faster-paced version shot on the same sets as the original Todd Browning film, with stunning lead performance courtesy of Carlos Villareros as the Count himself. The film has been notoriously difficult to find in the years since its release, and only recently made available to purchase on home video. As part of its announced slate of October streaming choices, Criterion Channel has added the Spanish language version of Dracula, along with several other classic Universal horror films, such as 1933's The Invisible Man, 1935's Bride of Frankenstein, and 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon. If you haven't seen this masterpiece of early horror cinema, you owe it to yourself to make time to watch it this month. And that is the Polygon review, which I completely agree with. If you haven't seen this movie, I do urge you to check it out, either stream it or request it on DVD from the library. And our final streaming recommendation for this week is the 2004 film The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, directed by Wes Anderson and featuring an ensemble cast including Bill Murray, Owen Wilson, and Angelica Houston. Bill Murray stars as the title character, a Jacques Cousteau-style oceanographer and documentarian, in this frisky yet bittersweet comic drama from director Wes Anderson. Working for the first time with Noah Baumbach as his co-writer, Anderson indulges in an absurdist streak that meshes nicely with the familial discord and dry wit of his previous pictures. He also marshals one of the most impressive casts to date, which includes Cate Blanchett, Jeff Goldblum, Angelica Houston, and Owen Wilson, who is both touching and goofy as Zissou's estranged son. And that's the New York Times overview of the film. And finally, our Hoopla recommendation for this week is the new audiobook, An Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed. A little bit of dark humor here. The book is written by Helene Thurston, and the audiobook is read by Anne Richardson. And let me tell you a little about the short stories in this collection. The 6 linked stories in Swedish author Thurston's delightful sequel to 2018's An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good showcase the ingenious murder methods that Maud, an idiosyncratic octogenarian with questionable motives, has devised over the years. In the story, an elderly lady begins to remember her past, set during a flight to South Africa. Maud reflects on a recent visit by Thurston's 2 serious detectives, Irene Huss and Embla Nystrom, who want to question her about the murder of an antiques dealer found dead in her home in Gothenburg. This memory prompts Maud to recall an incident, the subject of the story Little Maud Sets a Trap, in which, as a child, Maud took revenge on two boys who bullied her mentally challenged sister. The highlight is the concluding novella, An Elderly Lady Takes a Trip to Africa, about a safari that proceeds without incident until Maud decides to correct the criminal behavior of a travel guide. Assured prose matches an irresistible heroine. Readers are sure to welcome a third entry in this beguiling series, and that's the publisher's weekly review. And it is a terrific, so far, two-series series. Check it out. Library Connections videos premiere on Facebook Fridays at 1 p.m. and may also be found on the Southeast Steuben County Library's YouTube channel. Have questions about this weekly videocast? Let me know. Send an email to me at reimerl@stls.org and I'll get back to you. And a note on library hours. The library is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're open on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we're closed on Sundays. The library's website is found at ssclibrary.org, and you can find a whole host of information on our website about upcoming events. You can access our catalogs, schedule a curbside appointment, and much more. Again, that's ssclibrary.org. StarCat and its companion app BookMine. StarCat is the catalog of physical library materials available to all cardholders of the public libraries in the Southern Tier Library System. STLS encompasses the public libraries in Steuben, Chemung, Yates, Schuyler, and Allegheny counties. StarCat is found online at starcat.stls.org. And the companion app BookMine, which is BookMyne, is available in your app store. If you'd rather access the catalog through the app, download it from your app store. The digital catalog and its companion app Libby. The digital catalog is available online at stls.overdrive.com. The digital catalog features eBooks, downloadable audiobooks, and a handful of streaming videos. And if you would rather access the digital catalog and its content through an app, the app is called Libby, Libby. You can download it from your app store and access the same catalog of items through the app. Hoopla, and of course its companion app, also called Hoopla. The Hoopla catalog features ebooks, comic books, full-length albums, downloadable audiobooks, and streaming videos, including both TV shows and movies. All Hoopla items are available for instant checkout for Southeast Steuben County Library cardholders, with a maximum of 6 checkouts per month. The Hoopla catalog is available online at hoopladigital.com, or you can download the app to your mobile device or smart TV. Communicating with the library. An important thing. If you have questions about library materials or services, you are welcome to go the traditional route and simply give us a call. The library's telephone number is area code 607-936-3713. We have the same phone number we've had for decades, so if you have an old phone book floating around the house, you'll find our number in your phone book too. And you can also connect with the library via social media. The library has pages on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Library blogs. We have 5 of them. We have the Book Club for Adults blog, which is found at ssclbook.club. And you guessed it, that one focuses on the monthly adult book club. We have the Corning NY History blog, which is our local history blog, which is found at corningnyhistory.com. Creation Stationery, our Makerspace blog, found at creationstationery.com. Story Musings, a blog hosted by the library's resident author and head of adult services Michelle Wells, found at storymusing.blogspot.com, and Tech and Book Talk, a readers, viewers, and listeners advisory, which is found at SSCLtech.com. And here briefly are references for this week. Thanks for watching Library Connections, and I'll be back in 2 weeks, which is Friday, October 22nd. Have a great 2 weeks.